What is up, guys? It is Thursday night, I think, losing track of time. Fantastic climb night. Really feeling strong. The ankle's just a tiny bit of an issue, but really going in and crushing pretty much all V3 grades, flashing a bunch, and even flashing stuff in the V4 range. So I think I really made a progression in my climbing. But I think this is going to change a little bit. And the reason is, looking at it, I've been evaluating this video series. I'm approaching 50 videos. I've had a fantastic time doing the videos. I'm definitely going to continue. It is a rewarding experience just in itself with the articulation and ensuring that I'm practicing speaking and real-time articulation. I do take some notes sometimes about the content of the video and what it is that I want to say, same way that you would prepare a presentation. I don't have slides or visual aid, but what's funny about that is if you ever do give a presentation with slides, you are the presentation. The slides are a visual aid. I say that in particular before because that's the way that it needs to be seen. You are the presentation. Remember that. And so for this, it is a consistent and constant practice of that I am the presentation, and what I'm presenting to you are the ideas and thoughts and experiences and lessons that I've learned. And so in that, like I said yesterday, is connecting that a little bit more real time with my life. And reading through X today, or Twitter, however you want to refer to it. I guess I don't know what the kids are doing these days. There was a post by Justin Welsh that I read about solopreneurship, and really in there I resonated very closely with a concept that he said of, if you were to talk to people that know you or your friends, your family, etc., what would they say you're natural at? And in truth, that got me thinking about a number of experiences recently and in general. So it's a little bit of a story time. Try to keep it short because I do want to connect this to a couple more things, hopefully. But maybe you'll just know more about me by the end of this video. So throughout my life, or I guess when I went to become more educated in college, right? I went to become a mechanical engineer. And if you know anything about engineers, on average, they're not very good with people, at least in my experience and from my feedback. And being close by a lot of people that ultimately became engineers, that's my assessment of the situation. So if you don't know them, you can take my word for it. I'm a pretty honest person. They're not great with people. Now, when I entered the workforce, I will tell you that it is my personal opinion that I am not a terribly creative person. I think I'm far more creative today than I ever was back then. But that's because I didn't really know anything. And when you don't know anything, I think it's kind of hard to be creative. It's this really weird thing. Maybe that's my own mental block. So in the early days of being an engineer, I needed to leverage what I did know with what I didn't know. And in product design, which is not something I enjoy, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to accomplish any of the goals. So I utilized relationships with people. And I created relationships with production floor members, with other engineers, to really ask a lot of questions and to ultimately have them be the creative ones because they're way more familiar with what it is that we're trying to do. I don't know. I'm just a conduit. And ultimately, I started to become very good with working with people over time, over the course of my career. I leveraged and understood that the personal relationships, or the relationships in general, were gonna be the way that you could be more impactful. If I relied solely on myself, I was trying to think of the best analogy I could. And I like basketball, so kind of one of the first analogies that I thought of is when you have a superstar on your basketball team. When you can take all the shots, maybe you're good at assists, rebounds, stuff like that, but ultimately a double team or a triple team, and you can be beat, your team can be beat, all just because you're leveraging just you. And over time, develop the understanding of trying to make those around me better and trying to support the development of others and ultimately found that giving other people wins is an incredibly rewarding experience. And so in being selfish, that's really what I try to do today, just with greater impact. With the impact right now of touching at least 70-ish lives, and at times more than that. Getting the opportunity to run different workshops in the past, some of which on leadership development, my favorite workshops that I've ever done, and stuff that I would like to do more of. But ultimately what it is using certain tactics I've developed and certain skills that I've developed over time in building relationships. And ultimately this could be interpreted as negative, but it's definitely not. Leveraging the relationships to help people achieve greater levels of success and achieve their own wins, and to develop an understanding of what they're capable of. A lot of times we have these ceilings that are very limiting. I've talked about limiting assumptions before, and a lot of times what we see, what we're capable of, is a lot lower than what we actually can do. We just have the wrong mindset, and we have the wrong beliefs, and we can't see our full potential. This has been very true throughout my experiences, and it's true for myself. And so that's why I challenge myself all the time, is to ultimately try to find out if I can figure out where that ceiling's at. And I would say that I've capped out before, but if you keep pushing, oftentimes you'll have a breakthrough. Sometimes you need the support of your friends, the support of your family. Sometimes you need people that are willing to hold you accountable. That might not be your friends or family. People that will tell you the truth. So ultimately, the biggest thing I'd like to lean into, circling this all the way back probably a couple minutes, I think I'm a natural at direct, engaging conversations and direct and engaging dialogue. I've had several people recently come to me and request my support in that, request sessions with me weekly that help them to better communicate, better command a presence, and better reach people, to connect with them and to support them and ultimately achieve greater success. Not as individuals, but us as an organization. These are colleagues, and these are people that work within my company that have come to me. What's interesting about this, to me, is the flip side of a persona, of my persona, is that in a professional sense, I think that I'm incredibly strong with this. In my personal sense, my personal life, I think that it's lagged significantly. And it's probably due to the confidence I feel in a professional setting and the amount that I practice it in the professional setting. But ultimately, that's something I'm leaning into personally as well, to help develop that voice and the ability to communicate very directly in an engaging way. Like I said, it is very rewarding to help support people and help them achieve wins that they never thought they were capable of. And when we add all these wins up across a greater group of people, you can achieve much greater impacts. And if I rewind 10, 15 years, the biggest reason that I had always wanted to be a leader was to leave a greater impact. I think that's a part of the ultimate purpose. My purpose is to support the development of others and show them what they're capable of. And by doing that, I hope to, hopefully within a group, or within a subset of the world, leave a bigger mark, make some real change for the better. We shy away from direct dialogue in a lot of senses, at least in the people I know and in my past. I've shied away from conversations that definitely need to be had. And now I've developed a skill set that I think makes me a lot stronger in that. So in the day-to-day, I'll be writing down lessons and experiences that allow me to connect and share my viewpoints and my tactics. But most importantly, a friend helped me understand the why behind it. Why do I do what I do? Why is it that I approach a situation in a certain way? because I've developed this so much now at this point, doing this for years and years and years, that it almost feels natural to me. And I would tell you that if I did rewind 15 years ago, and if I really could walk through my shoes back then, I didn't have it. I wanted it. And it was my ultimate goal, but I definitely didn't have it. And fast forwarding to now, all the effort and all the exercise and all of the trials and lessons and failures and all of the reflections, they've culminated into an ability that I've developed even further year by year. An ability to connect with people, an ability to motivate people. There's a couple reasons why this is important, and I'll talk more about that as I continue through this. But ultimately, I do want to make a little bit of a change. It's also the original reason why I started these videos with what I did, because I wanted to talk about something that was easy to talk about, and I didn't know where I was going to go. I have a better idea now, today. So I appreciate those that have been on the journey, and I appreciate those that are interested in what I have moving forward. My hope is to share the way I approach situations, the experiences I go through in a day-to-day, and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way, both real time and from the past, that have helped me develop an ability to work very well with others. The main reason I got sent to South Carolina to run one of our facilities, from being in a position in quality where a good friend of mine told me where careers go to die, is because of my ability to work with people. Feedback I was given in my review in a recognition session last year was that I never should have been an engineer because of how much I care about people. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. That's what I'm going to do moving forward. And everything will be structured around that. Connecting and sharing my viewpoints and perspectives on utilizing talking in the most direct fashion possible, and supporting others and connecting with others in a way that helps them be the best versions of themselves and helps you to be the best version of yourself. But at the end of the day, you got to remember, you can't lose if you don't quit.